Y'all, y buenos dias. So I just wanted to sit down and chat with y'all and have a little bit of a discussion about sustainability and also just show y'all a couple of things that I had gotten. But yeah, so if you're interested, then keep on watching. Okay, so I really just want to open up this discussion because I've been in this realm, this world of sustainability, or that's Luna ringing the doorbell. This is what she was ringing the doorbell for. It's just literally a smoothie that I put in little popsicle molds and they get really, really hype. And so I have them on the front porch just eating popsicles so that I can record this. Okay, I'm back. But yeah, so I kind of wanted to sit down and chat about the difficulties and the issues in the movement in being sustainable in general and how to have hope and just kind of touch on a lot of those things and also show y'all tons of really cool swaps that I got from public goods. I know that so many people who are just getting in, who are just trying to make, switches, it's super overwhelming. And so I started this journey before Luna was born. I remember I really started researching and kind of getting into it right before she was born. And so it's been almost 5 years. And it's still overwhelming, y'all. It's still anxiety driving. And so I don't want people to get discouraged because it's just so much, And that's like my biggest piece of advice that I can give people when they're first really starting to get in is take a deep breath, one step at a time. One step at a time, because on one hand, there's such a duality here. On one hand, every single little thing that you do will have an impact, whether positive or negative, in terms of the planet. And that's real scary. That gets a lot of weight. And so while yes, it's so important to, pick a straw alternative if that's something you have the capacity to do. Remember your reusable bag. All of these little things, of course, are so impactful and every little bit helps. But at the same time, most of the disastrous chaos in terms of pollution, in terms of emission, are being produced by these giant multi-billion-dollar corporations. And so while on one hand we should always strive to do better in whatever capacity, and that's kind of going into my next point, is that sustainability will look so different for everybody. I live in an extremely rural place. We don't even have recycling out here, y'all. And so my zero waste lifestyle looks completely different from someone who lives in a big city, who has compost pickup, who has tons of bulk stores nearby, who can bike places. I can't do any of that. None of that. And that's okay. I live here and I'm gonna do the best that I can with the resources that I can, with the capacity that I can. Not everyone has the same capacity. And so we cannot look at someone's completely beautiful, curated Instagram and be like, wow, I can't do any of that. What am I doing? We can see those things and get motivated. And that's one thing. We can get motivated and find inspiration from it. I was like, oh, I never thought of that. I'm gonna totally try to switch this up. That's great. But don't beat yourself up because you aren't living some influencer's lifestyle. So many of the things that we can do don't cost that much money, if any money at all. They are not gonna be as cute and as, minimal aesthetic, but they're still just as important. And that kind of goes along with my next point that I wanted to talk about, is that minimalism as an aesthetic and sustainability as a practice are two different things. There are tons of things that are minimal and sleek that aren't sustainable at all, but they look it. And on the other hand, you have things that aren't that cute and are extremely sustainable and really, really great. And so we have to be aware of what is just marketing, what is just greenwashing, and what's not. I want more popsicles. So this is another one that I have. This one's like a little silicone mold. So it's kind of like the push pop style. And yeah, I just literally make a smoothie and pour it in there and they love it. But yeah, more popsicles. But yeah, like I was saying, there's so many things that because they're not aesthetically pleasing, people won't talk about it, people won't post about it. And like, I get it. But they need to be discussed. They need to be talked about because sustainability and zero waste lifestyles aren't something new. Sustainability has been a practice for indigenous people and traditional people all over the world for millennia, of living sustainably, of living intentionally, of living mindfully, of using every resource, of only taking what you need. All of these ideas aren't new, okay? They aren't new. And so that's another thing, is this idea that it's something trendy and something whatever, and that it'll kind of fade out. Sustainability is something that needs to stay if we want to live. And so we have to stay away from the idea of it being a look, of it being just this vibe, if you get what I'm saying. And so while it can be really overwhelming, baby steps, y'all. Baby steps. That's how everybody starts off. And I think that a lot of the issues come with the fact that sustainability can sometimes be expensive. Like, the more sustainable option can be out of reach for so many people. It's not accessible to all people. And that's something that we have to be addressing. It's something that we have to be discussing, because otherwise it's closing out sustainability. It's limiting people from being able to pick out better options. And so then we demonize the people for not picking better options instead of, addressing the accessibility of it. And these are all things that we need to think about when we're thinking about sustainability and thinking about who these environmental crises are affecting the most. And so I urge you to do research on environmental racism, on food justice. All of these things are super interconnected. And if you start digging in, you'll enrich yourself with so much information. So that way you are combating this with all realms. Because if sustainability isn't intersectional, we ain't about it. These are all bits and pieces of information for y'all to just go in and be like, oh, Jen mentioned this, I'm gonna Google that, or Jen mentioned this, I'm gonna watch a YouTube video on that, because that's what we're here for. That's what we're trying to all learn together, because there's so many things that I have learned from watching other people have these discussions. And so I wanna share that with y'all. And so now that we kind of, sprinkled that conversation everywhere, I wanna hear what y'all have to say. What are obstacles that you're facing in order to be more sustainable? What are things that are just out of your reach? And what are things that you're being really successful at? For me, one of the things that I feel like I got it now is, the basic stuff. The basic stuff. And so, we never leave anywhere unless we have our reusable bags. Like, that's just it's like phone, wallet, keys, reusable bags. Like, it's just so ingrained. That's one of the things too, is it comes with practice. It's not one day to the next. It was so long that I would forget my bag in the beginning, and then now it's just like a given. Our water bottles, we are very, very consistent in basically never forgetting our water bottles anywhere. And so just getting into the rhythm of it. I think that being sustainable kind of goes along with being a parent. Like, it's a lot of prep work. That's what's gonna make it successful, is just like thinking ahead and then going along with it. And then one of the things that I still have a lot of challenges with is food. Just vegan options and stuff. It's gonna come in packaging, and that's not something that I'm going to give up. Just because there's an alternative that is an animal product, because that's something that I morally choose. And so, I'm gonna pick the tofu that comes in plastic. I'm gonna pick the vegan cheese that comes in plastic, as opposed to going to like a deli where it wouldn't be in plastic, but it would be an animal product. And so it's all of these things that, I've seen people in Northern California who go and pick up their tofu in bulk, and like, that's amazing. That's like the coolest thing ever. But, I can't do that. And like, sure, I could try to make tofu from scratch, like make my soy milk from my soybeans from scratch, and then make, but I don't have the capacity to do that. And so these are all things that we have to consider when we're like kind of downing ourselves for just not doing enough, is giving ourselves grace. And that goes for anything in life, whether you're trying to be an athlete or trying to be an artist or trying to be whatever, giving ourselves that grace of like, hey, I'm trying and I'm putting that effort in, and that's what really counts. And it'll come in waves. Sometimes you'll be like, wow, it's been a month and I'm just like doing so well, and then It kind of slips up depending on, you know, your emotional capacity. How are you feeling? And it's like, are you feeling really overwhelmed so that you have to, you know, quickly get in and get a bag of pre-chopped broccoli as opposed to buying broccoli and chopping it up yourselves? All of these things are going to happen. And so again, giving ourselves that grace, because these are things that I still battle with in terms of, like I said, food, vegan food options. They're all gonna come in plastic. They're all gonna be in that kind of packaging. And so that's like kind of like my struggle. And I just mentioned, you know, the things that I'm good at. And we just have to consider that for ourselves and for other people. We have to give other people that grace as well, not just ourselves. But I really wanted to share some of the goodies that I got from Public Goods. Thank you so much to Public Goods for hooking me up with these awesome, awesome things. The first thing that I got is the Shampoo Bar, which is, funny enough, this is my third shampoo bar from them. I bought the first two because they were so awesome, and it's great because Zach loves it. It smells fantastic. Vegan, sulfate-free, paraben-free, gluten-free, all of the awesomeness comes in this little packaging. Fantastic. Another awesome thing that I think that literally everybody should have are these produce bags. Produce bags are pro, y'all. Little mesh bags, because you don't want them to be a closed bag. So that's a common problem that I've heard people have is if they have a completely covered bag, people can't read the tags on it. People can't read the tags on your fruits and vegetables. And so it gives a lot more work to the workers at whatever grocery store or shop that you're at. So make sure that it's kind of like a mesh see-through bag so they can scan the codes so they can see that. As opposed to these awesome bulk bags, these are great for bulk options. So if you're going to, most stores now, we're super lucky that stores are seeing that as a valid option for themselves, is little bulk sections. So to get beans and oats and things like that, are dry goods. These are great for that, because what we do, little hack, y'all, when we go, we typically buy our bulk stuff in Mama Jean's, which is about an hour and a half away, and we do that once a month. So we kind of schedule that in so that we're using up all of our stuff. But anyways, we get these bags, and you fill in your thing, and you kind of put them in a row. I'm also really obnoxious and like love doing this, so that's probably why. But let's say I got like black beans in this one. So I grab black beans and I put it first. And in my phone, I open up my notes app and I put black beans, code number 12345, you know, whatever it is. And then I have it in order. So that way when I'm checking out, I'm putting the bags in order and I know exactly the code number. So that way it just goes smoothly for them. So that way it's like, oh, I forgot, you know, whatever. And we have to look through and like run back or whatever. It's chaos at first. It was pure chaos. But now we got that kind of system down where I put things in order like that and it runs so much smoother. Another awesome thing that I love from Public Goods, again, this is my second one that I have, is this, it's like a body washcloth and it works fantastic. It's like super exfoliant. I've talked about this before because I really, really love it so much. You feel like you're at the spa, like you're getting a little body scrub action going on. It's like really bristly and like you just lather it up with your soap, with your body wash, preferably a zero waste option, and then you scrub yourself down with this and it works great. A new thing that I haven't tried yet, which I'm really hype about, are compostable waste bags. Nothing really to see, it's just like a little trash bag, but compostable trash bags. And these are 3-gallon trash bags. And so they probably like the bathroom size, right? I don't know, 3 gallons, whatever. But I'm really excited about this, just to have, you know, a little better alternative than the trash bag. Of course, we're still making trash. That is a thing, it still happens. And also, I'm not gonna let myself forget, use the code Jen-RiveraBell PGA so that you can get 15% off the store. And there's so many incredibly, very thoughtfully, mindfully, sustainably created products on there that are extremely affordable. That's my biggest thing, is that if we want to make these huge changes for people, they have to be accessible. And so for folks who don't have sustainable shops in your area, this is a great alternative. I'm super excited. I just kind of wanted to sit down and chat with y'all, especially, you know, this month being Plastic Free July and everyone being really excited to start off. And, you know, tons of people have been messaging me about like, what are some tips? What are some pieces of advice? And really is just take it one step at a time and don't try to overwhelm yourself. We're all doing the best that we can. And it, like I mentioned before, in the grand scheme of things, every little bit counts. Every single thing that we do counts, but also we need to be fighting that big picture. We need to be putting policies in place in order to stop. Oh my God, did y'all see that? La Mosca, here for the truth. Oh my God, I could not have planned that, y'all. It's ridiculous. They were about it. That's how I'm gonna end this, cause that's it. Now that my comments are enabled again, please feel free. Let's have that conversation down below. Let's talk about our highs and our lows, our woes, our everything. Let's give each other tips, advice, pieces of advice, things that you've gotten that you feel are benefiting you a lot, or things that you've gotten that are like, man, this is hot garbage and didn't help me at all. Please leave that down below. Gracias for watching, and I'll talk to y'all later.